So if you're relocating to Houston, I bet you've been told, just move to Midtown. Everybody does. And look, that advice is exactly right for some people and completely wrong for others. So I just want to sit down with you guys here and walk you through it. The lifestyle, the numbers, the investment angle nobody talks about, and what a normal week actually looks like here. All of it. And honestly, timing-wise, this might be one of the smarter windows we've seen in years to make this move. I'll get into why in a second. So let's start with what Midtown actually is, because I think people hear the name and think of something that it might not actually be. Now I will say, Midtown is in the middle of the town. It is in central Houston. We are sitting right between downtown and the museum district, which if you think about it, might just be the best location in the whole city if your life revolves around work and culture and actually going out to do things. You're minutes away from downtown, but just a short ride to the medical center. You're also walking distance to so many different amenities, including some of Houston's best restaurants. Architecturally, it's a mix. You're gonna have some single family homes, but most of the time you're gonna get a lot of townhome styles, condos, high-rise living, and the likes. And the people I see actually thriving here, it's not just one type. It's the young professional taking the metro line to get to downtown to avoid traffic. It's also the empty nester that finally gets to bike ride to work. You have executives who want a second home without the upkeep of a big property. And increasingly, it's buyers who see Midtown as more than a place to live. They see it as an asset. And let's talk about that, because it's a big part of why people are buying here right now. Here's something most people don't realize about Midtown. This area is roughly 80% renters. That's an enormous, consistent pool of demand if you ever decide to rent your place out. So I've had clients do it a few different ways. Some buy a townhome with a ground floor unit that has its own ensuite bathroom, and they'll rent it out, basically offsetting a chunk of their mortgage from day one. Others buy the property, live in it for as long as it suits them, and then ultimately put it on the market and get a renter inside. And that's the real appeal of Midtown right now. It's not just a home. It's a long-term asset with a built-in rental demand whenever you're ready to use it that way. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets interesting. Midtown's median sale price right now is sitting around $365,000. That's noticeably softer than it was a year ago, which means, and this matters, buyers today actually have room to negotiate. That kind of leverage didn't happen in 2021 or pre-COVID days, when everyone was waiving inspections to compete. Homes here are also averaging 118 days on the market, which is averaging around 4 months on the market. And I know that sounds like a long time, but flip it around and that's time for you. Time to tour more than one place, get a real inspection done, negotiating terms instead of rushing into a decision, and based on HAR, price reductions are more common right now than they were last year too. Again, more room for you to negotiate. This is what an actual buyer's market looks like. If you've been waiting for a moment where you have some leverage, instead of competing against 10 other offers, this is the time. So if you want the real comps on a specific building or block, just call me. I'll put the actual numbers with you so you don't have to guess. Now let's talk rates for a second, because everyone fixates on the sale price, but the rate is what actually impacts what's taken out of your bank account every month. According to HAR, a 30-year fixed mortgage was ranging from 6.125% to 6.5% as of March this year. Pair today's rates with Midtown's more reasonable pricing, and your actual monthly number often ends up a lot more manageable than people expect when walking in. The move is simple. Get pre-approved before touring, know your numbers, and shop with confidence. Now, if you're not in Houston yet, I know coming to tour in person is always the better option. And if you can't make that trip, I'll make sure it counts. But I also work with plenty of clients who need to make decisions out of state, and we have the process dialed in to make sure that that is seamless for you as well. Every situation is a little different, so however you need to do this, we'll make it work. Here's something else worth knowing. Midtown is not one uniform neighborhood. It genuinely shifts block to block. You've got corners with incredible restaurant and bar scenes, some of the best brunch spots, honestly. You've got a real community of people who hit the park every weekend. Tons of gyms, yoga studios, coffee shops, all the likes packed in the same vicinity. So there's always something to do. But then 2 streets over, it's completely quiet, residential, low-key, nothing like what you'd pictured from the name Midtown. And it doesn't stop there. Midtown's sister neighborhoods, places like the Heights or Upper Kirby, are incredibly close by and just as loved as the people who live there. So depending on what you actually want in your day-to-day, The right fit might be a specific block in Midtown, or it might be 5 minutes away in a neighborhood most people don't even think to look at. This is exactly the kind of thing that's impossible to figure out by just scrolling on listings online. So before you commit to a block, call me. This is the part where knowing the neighborhood block by block saves you from a mistake. Let's talk about the part that doesn't make it into the listing photos: HOA fees and taxes, because this is what's actually going to determine your monthly costs. Good news on the tax side first. Central Houston, which includes Midtown, actually runs a better property tax rate than a lot of other neighborhoods in Houston, typically around 2 to 2.5%. That's a real advantage compared to some other areas. On HOAs, it depends entirely on the property. Most townhomes and condos here do come with an HOA, and they usually cover the basics from grounds and landscaping, water, trash, sewer, and the likes. Sometimes building insurance and amenities like a pool or a gym might also include some additional fees. Your prices will range, but typically you'll start seeing give or take $200 a month, and then it can increase from there. But there are also some properties in Midtown without an HOA, so it's definitely not a blanket rule. It really just comes down to the specific home. When we look at anything together, I walk through the full picture: mortgage, HOA, taxes, insurance, so nothing surprises you after closing. All right, let me just paint for you a picture. What an actual week looks like living here. You bike 2 blocks for coffee instead of driving. If you work in the med center, you hop the metro line to get right through Midtown without the chaos of traffic or parking. In the evenings, a short bike ride to dinner or a rooftop happy hour, meeting up with friends and the locals. For weekends, take a trip to the museum district or enjoy a little spot at Discovery Green, just taking in the air and relaxed experience, all within a 5-mile radius. That's what people really mean when they say Midtown feels different from all other areas in Houston. It's not about square footage, it's about how connected your life feels day by day. So, if you're serious about buying or investing in Houston, call me. We work with relocating buyers and sellers all the time, and we can't wait to help you with your next venture. And if Midtown's not quite what you're looking for, click the video right here. I break down another Houston neighborhood that might be exactly what you need. See y'all next time.